Neighborhood action. The closer I get to Dr. Flossdrop's office, the harder it is to breathe. Suddenly, the warm air feels so gritty and stale, I don't want to take a breath at all. I usually love summer, even with my immense curly hair weighing me down and my charcoal gray clothes soaking up the heat. But right now, rain and fog would be a better match for my mood. Dr. Flossdrop and Adam and I have lived in an apartment down the street from her dental office for my entire life. This lets my mom walk to work. That's convenient, especially because she's always there, even after regular hours, when she sees patients who can't afford to pay. Her philosophy is summed up in the poster that hangs in her waiting room. Healthcare is for people, not profit. I guess I can't disagree with that, even though there are no posters with mottos about children or family in her office or our home. The closeness of Dr. Flossdrop's office to the apartment is also convenient because she's perpetually holding neighborhood action meetings there on topics like raising money for the library, fixing potholes, and holding pet adoptions. Useful stuff like that. I wish Dr. Flossdrop was more like Aunt Mildred. Honestly, it's hard to believe they're sisters considering how opposite they are. Dr. Flossdrop lectures me about brushing and flossing. Mildred brushes my wild, tangly hair away from my forehead in order to kiss it. Dr. Flossdrop doesn't watch TV or even own one. Mildred hosts movie screenings for Adam and me. Dr. Flossdrop always wears her hair in a high, neat bun, whether it's 6 in the morning or 9 at night. I've only ever seen her hair in that bun. Mildred changes her hair every few months. She even dyed it pink once. Dr. Flossdrop has a tiny, angular frame. She's as slim and metallic as a robot made of steel. And she doesn't allow sweets in our home. No exceptions. She would outlaw them from the world if she had the power. Mildred, on the other hand, bakes and advocates for oatmeal cookies. Her hips are spongy and wide. Despite that, she has the most minuscule fingers, able to nimbly scrape the hardest to reach back molars. That's right. Aunt Mildred is Dr. Flossdrop's dental assistant. Up ahead, I spot the white building. Then the sign, Dr. Philomena Flossdrop, DDS. I want to see chaos. Police officers, big lost son signs like the one Dr. Flossdrop prints when pets go missing. But when I walk inside, everything is the same. Pink carpet, pink walls, pink sofas. Mildred did the decorating. The large sign that proclaims healthcare is for profit, for people, not profit. Brochures for various causes, classical music piped in, pink saloon doors leading past the reception desk to the examination rooms, to Dr. Flossdrop herself. The waiting room is fairly full. Even with the music playing, I hear Mildred somewhere in the back. I follow her voice. She's humming a French song about the ocean. When I find her, she's wearing scrubs with rainbow polka dots all over them. She immediately wraps her arms around me in one of those hugs that I'm sure makes us look kind of like the spirally layers of a cinnamon roll. I smell her cinnamony scent. Even when she's not baking in her kitchen, that's what Aunt Mildred smells like. Even here in Dr. Flossdrop's sterile office. I melt, but only a little. I'm on a mission to find out about Adam. Bonjour, mon pou, says Mildred. Adam has gone, I tell her. My poor cat, she says, tussling my curly hair around with her tiny hands. I'm sorry. Where is he? Oh, macaroon, I haven't a clue. Just then, Dr. Flossdrop approaches. She's dressed in her usual all-black outfit with a white lab coat and black clogs. Her hair is in its tightest, highest bun. Her left hand is clenched in a fist, which is pretty weird. I glare at her, trying to muster the courage to shout and scream and throw patient files in the air so they can rain down around the three of us. But instead, I stand there, silent. Dr. Flossdrop proceeds to say 3 things. We'll talk about what happened at school. I'll be home late. Please put these flyers in the waiting room on your way out. There's a stack of flyers in her hand. As soon as I take it, that hand also clenches into a fist. She looks like she's getting ready for some kind of fight, but she's a pacifist, so that's impossible. She says nothing about Adam. I stare at her like she's a robot and not a person. And then she's marching back down the hall in her clogs again, fists clenched. Mom, I call after her, but she doesn't hear me. Or she does, but it doesn't matter. She doesn't turn around. Ugh, I say to Mildred, who rubs my back in wide circles. I turn to her. You knew Adam was gone? Mildred nods. There was an ace of hearts on my welcome mat this morning. I knew there was no one else it could be from. Then I talked to your mum, and we worked it out. Wait, so she knows? As she put it, she saw this coming. He left her an envelope with rent for the past 3 months. But she didn't say anything about him just now. Honeydew, your mom's pretty worked up. Worked up? I look at Mildred the way any self-respecting 12-year-old looks at an adult when they're talking nonsense. She doesn't seem too worked up. On the inside, she is, says Mildred. Yeah, right, I mutter. The only thing she cares about is the inside of people's mouths. Mildred's quiet for a second. What about the potholes? She asks with a smile. I can't help but smile a little too. Yeah, she does care a lot about potholes. Potholes and vacant houses and anything else she can fix in the neighborhood. I pause. So he really didn't tell you where he was going? I ask quietly. Mildred shakes her head and gives me a sad face. A really sad face. Like she understands. But no sad face could be sad enough to mimic how I feel. My sadness is a giant, gaping, betrayed sadness beyond description. One thing I do know, says Mildred, is that Adam wouldn't have left without a good reason. That boy has something he needs to do. I growl. I can't be mad at her because she's Mildred, and I know she's trying to cheer me up. But the thing is, I can't imagine one single good reason why Adam would have left, especially without telling me first. There is no possible reason for this deception. It's the kind of thing Dr. Flossdrop is normally signing internet petitions about. But when her own son does it, she says nothing. I have to get back to work, so you'd better get out of here, says Mildred. I give her a hug goodbye and head out, dropping Mum's stack of flyers on a side table in the waiting room on my way by. Then I make the mistake of reading one. It's a petition. Neighborhood Action Alert. Tree planting petition. The meadow has no trees. Let's plant some. The exclamation marks at the end are really what get me. Dr. Flossdrop never uses exclamation marks unless she's talking about a neighborhood action project. She definitely never uses exclamation marks that way about me. I want to dump those tree petitions flyers in the bin. But then I remember I should recycle them, and the recycling bin is in the back office. I settle for turning the stack upside down before I leave. I know exactly where to go next. It's one of Adam's favorite hangouts and the only place I can think of that he might be. He used to play ukulele there sometimes and put out a hat for tips. Plus, the place I'm thinking of is also Dr. Flossdrop's arch nemesis. Right behind uselessness, that is. It sells ice cream. Bees. We are the bees. We are a colony. We are, by definition, a group. We, worker females, drone males, the queen, operate collectively. One for all and all for one. Most of the time, anyway. The story we're about to tell you is about a colony of honeybees. Our colony. Our story. We were connected. Migratory bees. In other words, we were not out there on our own, free. We were rentals. We were tended by beekeepers who employed us to pollinate food for humans. Food like apples, pears, almonds, cherries, cucumbers, cabbages, blueberries, celery, papaya, pumpkins, and for certain humans, Brussels sprouts. We were jet setters, well, truck sitters. We traveled across the country to all kinds of places to carry out our industrial duties of pollinating flowers, so the trees and shrubs of the field would produce fruit. It wasn't a bad job once we were at an orchard, and the getting of pollen and nectar was good. But the tang of pesticide in our probosces and the long days of rumbling highways in between were exhausting. Not to mention the sickeningly sweet syrup they fed us on the truck to tide us over until the next stop. And let's not get started on the pollen patties. They are not an adequate substitute for the real thing. But we were workers for hire, so who did our jobs buzzingly. The beekeepers were kind to us, and we had no gripes with them. But still, deep inside our exoskeletons, we were unhappy. We felt trapped, literally. We wondered if there might be another way. We were on that truck a lot of the time, squashed between other wooden box hives. So we spent those long rides scheming ways to get out. We wanted to find a place to settle down in nature, the way our ancestors would have done. Not the ancestors who traveled across the Atlantic in 1622 in the straw hives of English colonists to become the first Americans of their kind, but the many who came after them, the ones who roamed free and found wild places to nest and go about their honey-making, queen-protecting business. We'd heard rumors of other bees who'd managed to escape, In fact, some of the hives that pollinated with us at orchards had recently up and disappeared, just like that. The problem was, we had no idea where they'd disappeared to, or if they'd survived. Despite the risk of great danger, there came a point when we decided, together, that we'd had enough. Better to risk failure than to never try. There was only one thing to do. Make a break for it at our very first chance, and hope, with each and every one of us crossing all 6 hairy legs, that we'd get one.